Hello. Today I'm going to give you a preview of our latest product at DLG Electronics, an enlarger timer designed to give you automatic control of your enlarging exposures. The unit supplied, fairly sort of robust unit designed for many years of hard service. It's in an extruded aluminium housing, quite thick wall and strong. It weighs about 560 grams, that's about 1¼ pounds or 20 ounces. At the bottom we have connections, power inlet, output to enlarger, output to safe light. These are standard IEC type connectors. Don't worry if your equipment isn't fitted with those connectors. We supply two connectors of this type which you can fit to your enlarger and safe light. There is also a power lead supplied with the unit with the appropriate IEC connector. That's supplied with either a US or UK style plug or an adapter unit for those sales which go to other countries. There is a socket here for a foot switch also. At the top of the unit we see the power switch and two fuse containers. These are fuses designed to protect the unit against overload on the enlarger and safe light, and also to protect the electronics inside. We supply the two fuses with the unit as spares. The total power load on the unit is up to 5 amps, which is adequate for the vast majority of equipment. It's designed for universal power supply, 100 to 240 volts AC at 50 or 60 hertz, which covers just about every country in the world. So, on the front panel, we see the switches for safe light and enlarger. These provide an override function. You can set the enlarger on for focusing and off, and similarly the safe light can be switched off if required on here. There is a rotary control that is used to set the exposure time, and a button to start the exposure. Starting the exposure switches on the enlarger. When the exposure is completed, the enlarger is automatically switched off. I have here an old Patterson safe light which we can use to demonstrate the functions of the unit. Here it is. This one is actually quite old now, probably as old as me. Must be 40 or 50 years old, but it serves to illustrate what we're doing here. We can use this to demonstrate both the enlarger and the safe light functions. We just plug it into whichever port we wish. So let's apply some power to the unit. Power through the IEC connector. Plugs into there. And switch it on. There it is. And you'll notice that it's started with an exposure time of 12.0 seconds. Which is easily adjusted through the rotary control. Here you see it going up in half-second increments as we turn the control. Don't worry, that can be changed. There are a number of settings in this unit. Although it looks very simple, it does offer a number of very useful features. Turning this control, we see we can dial in almost any exposure we desire, up to a maximum of 99 seconds. If we keep turning the control, it goes back to 0, and that way this control rotates continuously. You can set it to any value you desire. So let's go to a sensible setting to illustrate this, say 7.5 seconds. If we plug in the safe light in the enlarger socket, it will allow us to demonstrate how this operates when doing enlargements. So I'll plug that into there, and if we press the start button or the run button, then it will start the exposure, and we see that the light comes on and the countdown clock starts running, and at the end of that exposure the enlarger goes off. Of course, we also need the enlarger on when we're focusing the picture. So we have this override switch here, which will allow the enlarger to be switched on regardless of whether the timer is running. So normally we would make our exposure, our focusing picture setup like that. When we're ready to make the exposure, we would switch that off, position the paper on the base, on the easel, and then press the start button and make our exposure like that. And there we are. The relays inside have got all the associated protection so that we can apply quite loads to that without damaging that relay. The safe light works in the opposite sense. So the safe light connected into that, the safe light socket at the bottom there, and the safe light is normally switched on, of course. We may wish to switch that off, which we can do so with this. And during the exposure, a lot of people do like to have the safe light off during the exposure when working with sensitive films or with long exposures to reduce the risk of fogging. So when we press the start button, the timer runs and the safe light is extinguished, and it will come on again at the conclusion of that exposure. Now, there are a number of features on this unit. They're not immediately obvious, very simple front panel, but we can access a number of settings which can be of some use to people. So I'll demonstrate those now. Let me just remove the safe light for convenience. So we can in fact adjust the display brightness. We do that if we press this rotary control. If we just press it momentarily, this will bring up a number of selections. My unit is now displaying BRI, is short for brightness. This option allows us to adjust the display brightness. Similarly, we can rotate this control and bring up some other options. If I turn it one place to the right, it says Inc, short for increment. This allows us to adjust the time setting increment. What you just saw was set in half-second increments, and we can change that to a number of other. Turn it again, one position, SOU, that stands for sound. We have a metronome function in here, which gives us a little audible beep as the exposure progresses. This is very useful if you're doing dodge and burn operations. And finally, DEL is for delay. We also have a function which allows us to delay the start of the countdown after the enlarger is switched on. This is convenient if you have an enlarger which has a startup delay after power on, since we can set an equivalent matching delay in this timer. That can be set from anywhere from 0 to 1 seconds in 0.1 second increments. What that does is when we start the exposure, the enlarger is switched on, but the countdown does not start until that delay period has elapsed. So that precisely offsets your enlarger startup delay. It's actually very easy to determine what delay you need by using the enlarger timer and setting the delay and using that to match to your enlarger. So at this point we will demonstrate the brightness. So the brightness display, digital the control of brightness. So let's start over again. We cancel the whole mode, so that's its normal time setting mode. Press the button to bring up these options as we just discussed. Select the one you want, press the rotary control again, and there we are. We see it says brightness 9. That is the maximum brightness, which I've used here because we're operating in bright room light as opposed to a dark room. We can turn that down in a number of steps to reduce the display brightness, right down to a brightness of 0, which is barely legible on there. This will be clearer in a dark room. This is designed to be extremely dim to make it sort of safe to use with sensitive panchromatic or colour emulsions. believe me, that is quite visible in a dark room. So for this bright room light, we'll turn this back up to 8 or 9. Likewise, I said the time increment could be changed. Here you will see it's half a second. Each nudge of this rotary control, each click round increments the time by half a second. We can change that to a number of options. Again, we press that to bring up the menu, rotate increment, press the increment button, and there we are. We see the function is 0.5 second increment. So we can change that to 0.2 or 0.1, 0.5 or even 1 second. The 1 second is quite convenient if we want to operate long exposures, as that formats the display to a 3-digit 1 second display, which I will now show you. Press that again to enter the setting, and we're now on 10 seconds, and we can turn it to 11, 12, 20, and we can go up to very long exposures if we desire, of up to 999 seconds, which I think is about 15 or 20 minutes. That should be long enough for almost every user. So we'll go back. I'll just display increment. Set that again. 0.5, 0.2, 0.1, and the 0.1 allows us for very fine control of the time. Unfortunately, obviously, when you're on such small numbers, it takes a lot of rotating of the dial to make a big change. So we'll set it to now 0.2. Whenever you change the setting, it rounds the time to the next nearest number. And now we see it goes in 0.2 second increments as we turn the knob. And we'll bring it back to 0.5 as it was before. And again, it's rounded the time to the nearest value, which is 7.5. Similarly, I mentioned before, it had a metronome function. That's when you select the mode, that's SOU for sound. Press again to enter that, and here we are. The time period P is set to 10, which is a 10-second metronome beep. That means the unit will beep every 10 seconds during the exposure. That's probably longer than most people would want, so we offer the option to change that to 5 seconds, 2 seconds or 1 second. So 1, or we can alternatively turn it off altogether if we want to operate in silence. Off. So I will leave that off for now. And just to recap, having set all those settings as we wish, very simple. We make the exposure by connecting the enlarger to the socket. And press the button, and the exposure is made. This unit is a prototype unit. We made a small batch here for test purposes. It had a number of sort of temporary features, but it's very similar in appearance to what the production units will be. The production units will have a polyester fascia on here, which is printed on the reverse to make it resistant to damage. The polyester is very chemically resistant, so it shouldn't come to any harm if you have a little bit of developer or anything on your fingers. It'll wipe clean. Obviously be careful, this is an electrical equipment operating off mains, so be very careful with water and other liquids on it, but it is designed to be resistant to damage. This prototype unit is using a paper adhesive label just to give you an idea of the appearance of the final unit. And thank you for watching. We hope you'll be interested in that. Please visit us on our website, www.dlgelectronics.com. You can use the contact form there if you wish to receive any email updates on how we progress with this unit, and to express an interest if you wish to purchase it. These will be available through Cat Labs for US customers, so recommend you also visit the Cat Labs website once we've got this on the market. It will be a few weeks yet. We still need to undergo some further compliance testing, but when that's done, we will launch a production run of these products, and they'll be on the market. So please visit us, www.dlgelectronics.com. Thank you.